Falcon harmless, humane restrainer is just the ticket.
Dynomutt Dog Wonder. This 70s cartoon promises loads of fond memories. Hello and welcome back. I'm Terry Cooper, and this is Marvelous Videos. The 70s were the golden era of cartoon shows, and it gave us a lot of unique shows full of bizarre yet funny adventures. One such show that will certainly bring back your childhood Saturday morning memories is Dynomutt Dog Wonder. It follows the crime-fighting adventures of two superheroes, one human and one dog. The Blue Falcon and his hilarious robot dog Dynomutt, a.k.a. Dog Wonder, live in a city similar to Gotham, which is known as the Big City. This daring duo holds the responsibility of keeping crime at bay. The Blue Falcon and Dynomutt are vigilantes, quite similar to the famous DC duo of Batman and Robin. However, having said that, the lives of Blue Falcon and Dynomutt are distinctly different and quite hilarious. In fact, they're also often teamed up with Scooby-Doo and the Mystery Incorporated gang. Imagine how wonderful it would be to fight crime with two dogs, especially when one of them is a robot. So, without further delay, let's get on with the video and explore everything about this one-of-a-kind cartoon series. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Now, let's begin.
Fasten your seatbelt, Dog Wonder. We're off. Blue Falcon.
Dog Wonder.
Away!
A quick overview of this underrated cartoon series. Dynomutt Dog Wonder was created by Joe Ruby and Ken Spears. It began on ABC and is produced by Hanna-Barbera Productions. Ultimately, the reruns of the series also aired on Cartoon Network, among a few other channels. It was initially broadcast as a half-hour segment of the Scooby-Doo Dynomutt Hour, which gave us the first 16 episodes. Later on, we got to see 4 more episodes as a quarter-hour segment of Scooby-Doo's All-Star Laugh Olympics. Eventually, in 1978, the series finally came out in syndicated reruns as Dynomutt Dog Wonder. It also gained more fame and recognition as it was the first Saturday morning cartoon that portrayed an African-American public official in the character of Mayor Gaunt, voiced by Larry McCormick. Even though it only has 20 episodes, the stories of the protagonist duo are far greater than you can imagine. Dynomutt's character has been voiced by the incredibly gifted Frank Welker, who is best known for voicing Fred Jones in the Scooby-Doo franchise, and the voice for Blue Falcon's character has been provided by the multi-talented Gary Owens, who has also voiced characters in other shows by Hanna-Barbera Productions.
Oh no, another malfunction. He's out of control.
The Blue Falcon, in his civilian identity, is known to the public as Radley Crown. Crown is a millionaire socialite art dealer, but he is the superhero vigilante when he's not selling art. He fights crime on the streets of the big city alongside his sidekick and assistant robot dog Dynomutt. Quite similar to Batman, Blue Falcon also has a signal through which he can be contacted for help. When he sees the Falcon flash, he runs to Falcon's lair, which is located in his penthouse apartment. He changes into his Blue Falcon costume and heads out to help the city with Dynomutt Dog Wonder. Since he is obviously pretty rich, he has a suit full of Falcon gadgets that come in handy for his missions. But the most impressive one has to be the flying Falcon car. It is fast and smooth and definitely on par with the Batmobile. The Blue Falcon also possesses a utility belt. He often seems tired of Dynomutt's constant clumsiness, but the two share a pretty close relationship. Dynomutt has even given Blue Falcon a cute nickname. He calls him BF as a term of endearment. The heroic duo receives reports regarding criminal activity through a TV screen at the Falcon's lair from the secret agent Focus 1 of the Secret General Headquarters. From the more recent animated series, this part kind of reminds us of Perry the Platypus receiving missions from Major Monogram in Phineas and Ferb. Anyway, the character of Focus 1 is voiced by Ron Feinberg, who is also the narrator in all 20 episodes of the series. Dynomutt Dog Wonder becomes slightly more exciting as it has constant appearances by the cast of the Scooby-Doo show. As kids, I'm sure all of us have been in love with the crime-solving group of friends known as Mystery Incorporated. It's great to see that Scooby-Doo, Shaggy, Fred, Daphne and Velma are close friends with the Blue Falcon and Dynomutt. They make it more fun to watch the blunders of the duo while they help solve crimes on multiple occasions. Now, let's take a look at a few of the most loved episodes of Dynomutt Dog Wonder that didn't fail to impress the fans. The very first episode of the series is titled Everyone Hide, and it introduces us to the arch-nemesis of Blue Falcon. It is also a crossover between Dynomutt Dog Wonder and Scooby-Doo. The episode begins with a look at Big City, the home of Blue Falcon and Dynomutt. Much like Gotham, Big City is also full of law-abiding citizens as well as evildoers who only think of themselves. One such evil character is Willy the Weasel. Apparently, he has created a formula that allows him to transform into Mr. Hyde. He goes on to steal coins from a collector's shop, and we find out that aside from himself, he also has the power to transform others into Mr. Hyde as well. After a successful robbery, he uses an antidote to turn himself and his dog back to their original forms. Meanwhile, Blue Falcon, as Radley Crown, is hosting a private exhibition at his art gallery, completely unaware of the incident. He asks Dynomutt to get refreshments for the guests, and he uses his magnificent mechanical body to bring out a counter full of the perfect food items. So it looks like with Dynomutt by your side, you will never go hungry. Soon after, the duo hears the Falcon flash and runs to Falcon's lair. Via the TV screen, Agent Focus 1 tells Blue Falcon about the evil plans and threats of Mr. Hyde wanting to turn the entire population of the city into Hyde monsters if he is not made the mayor of the city. Along with Dynomutt, they get into the Falcon car to stop Mr. Hyde. At the Big City Museum, some crown jewels are being exhibited, and Willy the Weasel has already arrived in the form of Mr. Hyde. He manages to convert all the guards at the museum into Hyde monsters before Blue Falcon and Dynomutt arrive. Now, in order to save the innocent Hyde people, Blue Falcon uses the Falcon's harmless human restrainer and is able to stop a few of them. When Dynomutt tries to help by using his Dino human restrainer, he accidentally ends up restraining Blue Falcon along with them. Later on, when he tries to go after the last Hyde, he has another malfunction where his body opens up with springs just like Slinky Dog from the Toy Story franchise. Soon after, we see the Mystery Incorporated gang with Scooby-Doo. Apparently, they think that this Hyde is their ghost criminal Hyde, so they set up a trap for him. However, Dynomutt accidentally gets caught in their trap. As it turns out, Dynomutt happens to be Scooby-Doo's hero. The Mystery Incorporated gang and Scooby-Doo decide to help Blue Falcon and Dog Wonder on their mission. After meeting with Mayor Gaunt, the team, along with Blue Falcon and Dog Wonder, decide to go to the Orville Research Institute to ask Professor Orville to make an antidote. But Hyde shows up and turns Professor Orville into a Hyde monster. Dynomutt tries to capture Professor Orville with his Dino Dynamic Restraining Net, but he has a malfunction yet again and ends up turning himself into a dino cycle. It causes some trouble for Blue Falcon as the real Hyde manages to escape during this chaos. But at least the heroes are able to capture Professor Orville safely. Dynomutt makes another blunder when he mistakes Scooby-Doo for Hyde and ends up destroying a lot of things at the Institute while catching him. Back at the Big City's City Hall, the Mystery Incorporated gang has found a glove that belongs to Hyde. Dynomutt uses his computerized clue analysis circuit to find out that the glove belongs to Willy the Weasel, and the group finally learns Hyde's real identity. Elsewhere, Hyde goes on a rampage and starts turning the public into Hyde monsters. All the heroes can do at this point is round up the innocent Hydes to keep them safe. Blue Falcon decides that it would be best for the city if they made Hyde the mayor. Now that's a surprise coming from a hero, but maybe he has a secret plan. After being appointed as mayor, the first thing Hyde does is transform Blue Falcon and Dynomutt into Hyde monsters as well. Things are now starting to look a little grave. When Falcon Hyde and Dynomutt Hyde go to Hyde's old headquarters, Blue Falcon tricks Hyde into revealing the antidote. As it turns out, the daring duo didn't actually turn into Hydes. They were just wearing masks. Now, along with the Mystery Incorporated gang, Blue Falcon and Dynomutt attack Hyde at the mayor's mansion where he's trying to take away all his stolen loot. Dynomutt very strategically tricks Hyde's dog, Snitch, and takes the antidote from him. Meanwhile, Hyde tries to get away in his car, but Blue Falcon and Dynomutt use their wonderful gadgets to capture Mr. Hyde successfully. The episode ends with another of Dynomutt's malfunctions as he tries to free himself from one of Shaggy's Scooby traps. Another epic episode is one titled, "What Now, Lowbrow?" The villain in this episode is the kind you would never have thought of before. A caveman named Lowbrow decides to go to college so that he can become the king of crime. What's funny is that he doesn't even know the meaning of the word brilliant. Lowbrow walks into the big city university and tells the receptionist that he wants to attend their college because he wants to learn how to be the best at pulling robberies.
I want to go to your school to learn how to be the best at pulling robbery.
At the Falcon Lair, the two heroes have received information about Lowbrow from Agent Focus 1. He tells them that Lowbrow plans on stealing from the university, but it looks like the villain has already reached the big city university library with his two henchmen. He smashes the wall and steals several books. Just then, then the Mystery Incorporated gang, along with our duo, arrive on the scene. Both parties head out in pursuit of the new criminal. Dynomutt uses his Dino Super Nose Snooper to follow his trail, but as it turns out, Lowbrow is one step ahead of them. In order to easily escape, he throws Pepper on the street where Dynomutt is sniffing, and with a huge sneeze, the heroes lose Lowbrow and his henchmen. Now back at his lair, Lowbrow looks for pictures through the books, and after seeing a tractor, he thinks that with a big tractor, he'll be able to pull off a big robbery.
With a big tractor, I can pull a big robbery.
In another incident, he manages to steal over $1 million worth of goods with that idea. The Blue Falcon comes up with a trap for Lowbrow, and the team broadcasts a piece of news saying that the big city university will be displaying an electro-super brain device through which anyone can become smart. If only such a thing existed in real life. Shaggy demonstrates the device on Dynomutt, and Lowbrow totally falls for it. Blue Falcon runs after him, and this time Dynomutt ends up doing something new. He tries to trap Lowbrow in his dino cage, but guess who ends up in it? The Blue Falcon, of course. Once again tracking Lowbrow with his nose, Dynomutt ends up in a ballet class, and the most surprising thing is that apparently he knows how to do ballet. He then tries to capture Lowbrow using his Dino Gym gyro, but inevitably it malfunctions and all of them end up in a trap laid by Lowbrow. Meanwhile, Lowbrow tries to use the Electro Super Brain device and discovers that it's useless. After being freed from Lowbrow's trap, the Blue Falcon uses Dynomutt's Dino computer and finds out that the criminal is headed to the Big City Mint.
The Big City Mint, 8:30 tonight.
Jinkies, that's only 5 minutes!
Upon arrival, they see that Lowbrow has pushed a huge boulder that will gradually crash into the mint. Dynomutt, in his attempt to stop the boulder, ends up underneath it, but using his Dino Jackhammer, he's able to reduce the size of the rock to that of a pebble. The episode ends with Dynomutt activating his Dino Jets, and from the air, the Blue Falcon throws his Falcon balloon on Lowbrow and it takes him to prison. Well, if it wasn't for Dynomutt's malfunctions, watching them catch the criminals would definitely not have seemed this hilarious.
Get me out of this, Dog Wonder!
All about Dynomutt, the adorable and silly sidekick. Dynomutt, the robotic dog version of a superhero, always tries his best to help Blue Falcon, yet somehow manages to do more blunders than wonders. In fact, Blue Falcon often calls him Dog Blunder instead of Dog Wonder. But even after these failures, he still manages to save the day by assisting the Blue Falcon. During his off-duty hours, Dynomutt is an adorable pet dog and the assistant of Radley Crown. As with most animated superheroes of the 1970s, we don't have any exact origin for either Blue Falcon or Dynomutt, but we do know that having a mechanical dog as a sidekick has to be a major benefit. Well, maybe Blue Falcon might not always agree with this, given the number of times Dynomutt has put them both in trouble. Dynomutt's quirky antics never fail to get a laugh out of the audience, even when the villain might appear to be in a winning position. His robot body allows him to use a variety of gadgets that we can only dream of. With just a push of a button, Dynomutt is able to do anything from telescoping his limbs to making ice cubes. Among the many things that are wired into his body, he also has a parachute and a vacuum cleaner that he often uses. When it's required, or sometimes even when it's not required, he's able to turn his legs into springs, which allows him to jump a lot higher than usual. Along with that, Dynomutt also possesses limbs and a neck that can extend really far. Although these limbs do get twisted up at times, he is still able to employ this ability to make himself taller and faster. Blue Falcon often asks him to use specific gadgets when catching a villain, but even before he can give Blue Falcon the gadget he wants, he malfunctions almost every time, and his gadgets appear to have a mind of their own. We saw the funniest malfunction earlier when he tried to take out his Dino Dynamic Restraining Net, but ended up becoming the Dino Cycle. Perhaps it would be best to say that he doesn't have too much in common with Boy Wonder, other than his name and a touch of green in both their costumes. The opening narration of the series describes him as being stronger than a train, and we have seen many instances where Dynomutt showcases his power, but he gets left behind when it comes to his so-so brain. Now, since both Blue Falcon and Dynomutt are employed by the secret general headquarters of Agent Focus 1 in order to bring stability to the city of Big City, it is obvious that they'll get paid. In the 7th episode of the series, titled Don't Bug Super Thug, Dynomutt reveals his life savings to be exactly 1 coin. He says that being a superhero is not the highest paying job in town. We also get to see the evil version of Dynomutt in the 8th episode entitled Factory Recall. The villain, Mr. Cool, uses his freeze machine to freeze people and entire stores so that he can steal things easily. During an encounter with Blue Falcon, Mr. Cool gets hold of his communicator and later uses it to make Blue Falcon believe that he is Focus 1, and Dynomutt is required to come to the factory for repair so that his malfunctions can stop. After getting the Dog Wonder to his lair, Mr. Cool reprograms him and turns him against Blue Falcon. This change in behavior is noticed when Dynomutt gives an evil grin. Now obeying Mr. Cool's commands instead of Blue Falcon's, Dynomutt has turned against justice. The criminal mastermind asks Dynomutt to bring Blue Falcon to his lair. The evil Dynomutt pretends to be on Blue Falcon's side and tries to capture him multiple times. First, he tries to make a hole underneath his seat in the Falcon car. When that fails, he tries to capture him using a dino trap. But even that attempt ends up unsuccessful. However, he manages to capture Blue Falcon with the old dino gift wrap and carries him to the enemy's den. The crime-fighting vigilante realizes that Dynomutt has been reprogrammed by Mr. Cool, and no matter how many malfunctions he had in the past, Blue Falcon only wants to restore him back to his old self, even when his own life is on the line. He manages to trick Dynomutt's command system, and the dog accidentally ends up freeing his old master. He is then quickly deprogrammed by Blue Falcon and goes back to normal. We can say that this episode sort of hints towards Dynomutt's origin, as Blue Falcon easily believed that Agent Focus 1 would repair him. Maybe Dynomutt came from the secret general headquarters of Agent Focus 1, but it's only speculation on our part, since nothing of this kind has officially been revealed. After quite some time, Dynomutt and the Blue Falcon also appear in the Dexter's Laboratory episode entitled Dynamite. When Dynomutt gets severely damaged after a fight, the Blue Falcon takes him to Dexter for repairs. Instead of helping him, Dexter deactivates him and decides to replace him with a new, improved version known as Dynomutt X90. While Dynomutt X90 begins by catching armed muggers, he rapidly evolves into a violent vigilante who uses extreme and fatal power to deal with petty crimes. He pulled out a machine gun on someone who was jaywalking. In fact, he's going to shoot a young girl with his laser eyes for disobeying a keep off the grass sign until Blue Falcon and Dexter arrive to stop him. Dexter then reveals that he developed Dynomutt X90 because he found the original to be merely a goofy, dumb sidekick who was of no help. The Blue Falcon explains to Dexter that despite his foolish demeanor, Dynomutt was a loyal dog and a hero who showed mercy. Dexter then immediately reactivates the original Dynomutt, who returns and tries to stall Dynomutt X90 long enough for Dexter to deactivate him. The relationship between Dynomutt and Blue Falcon is truly sweet and fun at the same time. Obviously, Blue Falcon is often fed up with his malfunctions and lack of judgment, but he is his dog, and certainly his best friend at the end of the day.
Activate superhero secret trap, Dog Wonder.
Gotcha, Pip.
What made the show so special? Dynomutt Dog Wonder is not just a show, it's the memory of a different lifetime. It's reminiscent of the pleasant Saturday mornings we used to have as kids, where we got to eat sugary cereal while watching a cartoon show about a superhero robotic dog who's supposed to make things easier for his partner, but always ends up making them worse at first. We also get to see slight character development for the main characters as the episodes progress. The Blue Falcon often reminds himself that aside from Dynomutt's blunders, he is his friend and the villains are his enemies. It's both funny and ironic how anytime he asks Dynomutt to do something, the dog ends up doing the complete opposite at first. But we can't deny that Dynomutt always makes up for it in the end by successfully capturing the enemies. To top that off, the Blue Falcon's straightforward character balances the seemingly messy character of Dynomutt. The show gets even more interesting whenever it has a crossover with a cast of the Scooby-Doo show. It was undoubtedly a genius idea to put two dogs together. One who was a little too confident given his lack of observation skills, and another who gets frightened quite easily. There is no doubt that Scooby sees Dynomutt as his hero. This mechanical dog surely knows how to spread his charm. Little aspects of the characters of Blue Falcon and Dynomutt make the show even more special. For example, Blue Falcon's patent dialogue when they get into the Falcon car and say,
Belt Dog Wonder, we're off. Blue Falcon.
And Dog Wonder.
Away!
Another quite fun characteristic related to Dynomutt is how he likes to rhyme his words every now and then. In the first episode of the series, after deciding to follow Mr. Hyde with Scooby-Doo, he says,
What? Scooby-Doo? Yeah! Scooby-Dooby-Doo! And Dynomutt too!
The daring duo of Blue Falcon and Dynomutt Dog Wonder is a classic 70s animated cartoon show. They bring goofiness, amazing adventures, as well as comic relief to our screens, and it's quite sad how rarely we see cartoon shows like this today. Well guys, that's all for today. We hope you enjoyed watching this video as much as we enjoyed making it. Have a fantastic day.
Anybody for turkey pancake?
Jeez.